So you've lived in Germany for a while, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or if you're like me, over 10 years, which is way too long for anybody. But if you've been here for a while and you're thinking of settling down here and maybe building a life for yourself, I think you should watch this video, because these are things that I wish that I did and I started on as soon as I moved here, because it took way too long for me to start putting all these things in place. So let's get into it right now. So the first thing, as soon as you land, you'll be here for like 6 months, 1 year, and you're getting settled in. The first thing I think you should start thinking about is getting your B1 language certificate, because number one, aside from it making your life so much easier, it makes getting visas and visa switchings, or maybe you want to move to a permanent residency, or you want to switch to a blue card, or even become a citizen. It makes all those things super easy, or rather easier, because aside from you being able to understand whoever you meet at the Ausländer Behörde, it adds to the documents you have and things get a bit easier. Do not be like me and wait 10 years before you do it. Yes, I know it sounds really weird that I waited so long, because I was working in an industry where I didn't need it, so I didn't really think about it. Like, I knew I had to do it, but I wasn't really in a rush. Do not be like me. You should already start thinking about it, or asking around on how to do the exam. It's not as hard as a lot of people make it to be, but I think it depends on also how you study. I made a video about how I was able to pass the exam, the resources I use. I think it should be here or here, I'm not sure. Have a look at the link. I will switch it in. And I had an amazing online teacher. His name is Manuel. He has a course that I used, and that was one of the most amazing courses that I could ever had. And I also had a few books that I used. If you watch this video, you'll see everything in there. So get right on it as soon as you can. Number 2, if you're working at a company or you're an employee of a German company, I would say the next thing you should get is your Arbeitsrechtsschutz, which is, I'll write it here on the screen, Arbeitsrechtsschutz, which is a legal, let me see, I have my notes here. It's a employment legal insurance. So here in Germany, once you are let go, you have some rights, and unfortunately a lot of expats like us do not know the rights we have or what we are entitled to. So if you have this insurance, it allows you to hire a lawyer to fight for you, or rather ask for all the things that you wouldn't be able to ask for, because they are more versed in that. So a little story time. I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos, but I shared a bit about this earlier. At the beginning of this year, 2026, I was let go from my job, and in the middle of me being emotional and thinking about, oh, what is the next step or the next thing I would do, I wasn't really sure. I had this lawyer. I reached out to her because we're having not mass layoffs, but like a bunch of us were like laid off. So all of us used the same lawyer, and I reached out to her. I explained my situation, and then she was like, oh yeah, no problem, I'll help you to fight for XYZ. And I was like, are you sure I can ask for that much? She's like, yes, you deserve even more than this. So luckily she was able to get me a good severance, ask for things that I wouldn't have even thought about. And I think she was even asking for more than I was comfortable with. But luckily in the end, everything worked out. And you cannot imagine how when her bill arrived, and it was, I think, 3,000 euros or something. I was like, okay, I have the insurance, so I just had to pay only 150 euros. Now imagine if I didn't have that insurance. If you are an employee anywhere, get an Arbeitsrechtsschutz insurance as soon as you can, because this will save your ass for any issues you have at work and you need legal help, because lawyers are expensive everywhere in the world. Next, if you're thinking about staying in Germany really long, like you plan to live here, become a citizen, become a permanent resident, take the Einbürgerungstest. I will put the name here on the screen. This is called a it's a citizen's test to see like how well you know about the culture, life and politics, especially of your state also. And it's one of those things where it's like, in the beginning I thought it was really hard, but it wasn't, because luckily there's an app you can use. I will link it in the description and I will write it here on the screen. And there's so much information on how to pass the exam, and there's like an app, I mentioned this before, where they have all the questions that will be in the exam and the answers. So you just have to like learn it over and over, use the app over and over for like 2-3 months or so. I think I booked the exam and then I started to use the app over and over so that I would learn. And I think there are 310 questions, and out of that you have to only answer 33. If you pass, I think you already have that paper, and I think it helps you with your permanent residency, and if you also want to become a citizen. The only issue is it's very hard to not very hard. It can be a little hard to get an appointment, because as soon as the dates are released, they are gone like that. So you might be looking at a wait time of like 3 months or 4 months before your exam. But again, if you have 3 or 4 months to prepare for your exam, I think that's enough time to get you ready to go through the app, see what you can do and how to prepare as much as you can so that you can pass the exam. And another thing, you can do this test at your local Volkshochschule. I think you just need to ask around or look on their website. So for example, I live in Hamburg, so that would be the Hamburger Volkshochschule, and they have dates there and the exam time there. You just need to have a look and pay attention to when the next dates are released or how available they are. And I think it's not expensive. When I did mine, it was 25 euros. So yeah, not so much for the exam, but just the time. It's a little hard to find one. Next on the list is something I tell all of my friends. Start saving, start investing. So since you are a friend of mine, I'm hoping if you've liked or subscribed and all the good stuff, I will tell you everything else you need to know. Like, subscribe, now, schnell. Okay, so if you want to live here really long, I would advise that you start saving and investing as soon as you can. So for me, even though I've lived here since 2014, I didn't really start to save properly until like 2018-19, and that was because luckily I was in a shared apartment. I already had a job, and luckily I had like a little spare money, so I just ran to the bank and said, here, I have all this extra money, please help me invest it. If not, I know that I will spend everything on nonsense. So they put it in some funds and things like this. But as time went on, I realized that okay, I want something that I have a bit more control over. So I opened an account with Trade Republic and Scalable Capital. Now this is not sponsored in any way. I've used them for really long, since 2022, and I've been happy with it. And yeah, if it's something that I've always recommended to everybody and anybody that I know. You can get ETFs, stocks, crypto, whatever you're into. Just have a look at it and see how much. Well, or you can like download the app, have a look, or you can also look around here on YouTube on how people are saving and investing on the app. It can be as little as 10 euros every month, 50 euros every month, whatever you're able to afford. Another option is, if you don't want to do an app, just go to your local bank and ask about this. And I think also, if you have an online bank like N26, I know that they offer this as an option. If you go to Haspa, Deutsche Bank, DKB, ING, I think a lot of them offer this also. So they also offer a savings option where you can either put some money aside, or you can invest it in ETFs, stocks, bonds, crypto, whatever you feel comfortable with. Again, I am not an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor in any way. Speak to somebody who knows more than I do. And never invest more than you are willing to lose. That's what I tell everybody. I tell my friends this also. Don't put in more than you are willing to lose. So the last one is getting a driver's license as soon as you can. But again, this usually depends on where exactly you are from. Now, I'm from Nigeria, and unfortunately our driver's license isn't accepted here. So that meant that I had to start the whole process from scratch, which was fine for me, because there are lots of things that we do in Lagos that I'm like, okay, it's not allowed to do here, which is fine. Like, I had to relearn how to drive on the streets here. I had to learn a lot of international laws and things like that, but it was okay for me. And then the only thing that I would say that it's a bit expensive. I think the average that people spend is like 3,000 to 4,000 euros. But again, it depends on how many times you have to do the exam or how many classes you need. If you're like me and anxiety rules your life, because I did the exam 4 times because I was nervous, especially on the road. The written exam, I did it once, I passed. The practical exam I had to do 4 times because I was that stressed out and nervous the whole time. And last time I did it, I was like, thank goodness this is over. Just stressed out. So it depends again on this. I think having a driver's license is really helpful because you can be as flexible as you want if you have a car, or if you have access to a car. And if you live in the city, it's also nice to be able to get a car if you want to go to a place like IKEA, or you want to help somebody move, or you yourself want to move, and you can rent a car or a van without having to hire movers, and you can do that on your own. So getting a driver's license is also a top priority list, I would say, if you want to have that flexibility. And that is it. So I say, if you want to start building your life here slowly, start with something, and that is, to recap, your B1 certificate, your Arbeitsrechtsschutz insurance, do the Einbürgerungstest exam, start saving and investing as little as you can, and then the last one is try to get your driver's license as soon as you can, because all these things, even though like they take their own time or they need their own timeline, it's usually annoying when it feels like you need that thing like right now, but you don't have the time to wait for it anymore. An example is the Arbeitsrechtsschutz. If you have any issues at work and you don't have the insurance, it's going to cost you a lot to get a lawyer. Or if you want to apply for your permanent residence and you don't have your B1 certificate yet, that's super annoying. So these are things I need to think about. So let me know which one of these things you would start with, or which ones you've already done, and let's have a chat right there in the comments section below. And I can't wait to hear from you guys and also talk to you about what I know and how I can help you in any way. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.